I want to share some hope today for becoming a more disciplined mama. If you feel like you're just in a rut and you want to break out of that self-sabotaging cycle, but you just can't seem to do it, I want to share some things that have really helped me as a mom of 6 to find a bit more discipline in life. Of course, there's always room for growth, but these essentials I'm sharing today have really revolutionized how much discipline I am experiencing in my life. So hey, my name is Lana. Like I said, I'm mom of 6. This is Girl Teach Me. This whole channel is just to help you become the best version of yourself that you possibly can be for the sake of your family, right? Like when we are learning and growing, our family is benefiting all the while. I really want to see all of us just come into the fullness of what God has for us. So if that resonates with you, stay and hit subscribe. And this might seem like it's a bit random, but hey, I'm talking to mamas here. If you have recently found out that you are pregnant and you want to change your birth experience, I have a free class down below. 5 things you need to know that will help change your whole birth experience. That is free to you, so check it out after this video. The first essential that has helped me so very, very much is the idea that a little bit of discipline breeds more discipline. And when I'm thinking about discipline, I'm thinking about the ability to rein myself in a little bit and be able to tell myself what to do, not continually self-sabotaging myself, but, I know that the dishes need to be done. Okay. It's the ability to make myself do the dishes when they need to be done, or go for that walk when I need to go for that walk, or, even read my Bible or journal when I know that time with the Lord is very important to my walk with Him. Reading my Bible helps me know Him better. But it's going to sometimes take a little bit of discipline to sit down and do those daily actions that really yield the best version of myself possible. I think that so many of us want to be disciplined women. I think sometimes we've let ourselves down so many times that we've kind of lost the hope that it's even possible. But that discipline, it feels so good, right? Because when we choose those disciplined things and we see the fruit that it brings in our lives, I just know it puts so much courage inside of me, because the thing is, I'm watching myself all the time. And when I watch myself let down and make less than wise decisions, it doesn't give me a whole lot of respect for myself. Now, granted, none of us are perfect. None of us make wise decisions all the time, but we all, I think, are longing for that progress in our life where we are slowly but surely up leveling into the woman we want to become. And so, like I said, with that first essential, a little bit of discipline breeds so much more discipline. So the good news is that when James Clear in Atomic Habits said, start small, he really did mean start small. And that is truly the secret of it. And so just thinking about a couple of daily habits that we can add into our life that we know if we followed them down the road long enough would yield the result that we want to see in our lives, adding those things into our lives and adding them in a doable portion. One of my favorite missionaries and theologians, Elizabeth Elliot, always says, do a doable portion. And there's just different seasons. We're all going to be in different seasons. Like right now, I am in the season of a 6-month-old. I'm nursing while I'm talking to you. I get interrupted sleep. My brain's not clicking on all the cylinders, and a doable portion is significantly less than when I don't have a nursing baby. So just being real with my season, not wishing my season away, but embracing the fullness of my season and the limitedness of my season. That's the second essential I would say, is that our limitedness can bring an extreme amount of glory to God. I think sometimes we think, okay, when I'm limitless, then I'll be disciplined. And that's a lie, right? Like when I have limited funds, then I'll be disciplined. When I have limited time, then I'll be disciplined. When I have limited willpower, then I'll be disciplined. When my kids leave my house, then I'll be disciplined. When I get a full night of sleep, then I'll be disciplined. And I think the truth is that helps us just kick discipline down the line. That helps us procrastinate on the micro disciplines that we can add into our lives that would yield a lot of fruit. And so limitedness of our season is actually a true gift. I think our limits can be a gift, and we're never going to have limitlessness while we're here on earth. And so I feel like that's just like a tiny lie that the enemy speaks to us that keeps us from taking really massive action in micro ways towards discipline. So I would say just embracing the limitedness of the season, adding in those micro daily habits that can yield so much discipline. Some examples, in case you're like, okay, Lana, what could those micro disciplines be? I'm just going to give you an example. I'm not currently doing all these in this season, but some that I have done in the past and some that I currently do. I'll just give you like a small list of them. So, it can be just any kind of spiritual discipline. So adding in times during the day to pray, memorizing scripture, reading reading a little bit of a psalm or a proverb, or studying a book of the Bible, texting a friend for accountability, and just how can I pray for you today, praying for one another. It can be taking our supplements, drinking a green drink or a protein smoothie. It can be going for a walk, getting outside for a certain amount of time with the kids. It can be moving our body for a certain amount of time. I'm in a mom's group, and she said when you're really, really in a funk and you're just not, you're basically sedentary, she said adding in a 7-minute workout. For some reason, that 7 minutes feels extremely doable. Generally, when we start that doable portion of a 7-minute workout, we kind of feel like we've broken through and we want to keep going. But on the days that we don't want to keep going, it just gives us a lot of momentum to at least have checked off that 7-minute workout. I think reading a book in bed at night is one of the golden ones, like especially a really strong fiction book that just is going to encourage us to get into the bed. I will say, I think there is some absolute garbage out there when it comes to fiction books. For women, I think the romance genre has gone absolutely berserk. I'll tell you, there's a book publisher I'm absolutely obsessed with right now, and I'm loving their books, and they help me get in the bed. And those are Lamplighter books, not sponsored. I have bought every one of the Lamplighter books that I've read or borrowed them from a friend, but I was at a homeschool conference recently and picked up 5 new Lamplighter books, and they are actually books from the 1800s that have gone out of publication, and they are being republished under the name Lamplighter, and they are so good, y'all. They're like biblical content, some light romance themes, but not always. And the characters are always walking through situations where their faith is being expanded and grown. And it's just so amazing to see that a writer in the 1800s is basically sharing the gospel like somebody would. And, you know, I'm filming this in 2026. And so I'm really enjoying those books. Off on a tangent. But I think just having a book that you look forward to really helps us put down our screens at night. I heard a really interesting one recently, and it was 3 hours before bed, no food, 2 hours before bed, no work, 1 hour before bed, no screens. I just thought, okay, that's so interesting because that really does help us get so much more restorative sleep. Our bodies are not digesting food all the way up until the time we go to bed. You know, putting that work away and having some wind down time, and then putting the screens away. You know, just those darn screens. I feel like anytime I am up late working on Girl Teach Me, not even up late on my computer up until the time I go to bed, I do not get as good of sleep. And so I think there's something to that. Just those like micro disciplines that we can add to our life. When we say no to ourselves so that we can say a better yes to ourselves, I think it always improves our lives and gives us so much momentum in life. And really too, I think that when we're getting enough sleep, it battles back sin in our lives. I think having a lack of sleep can leave us vulnerable to just more sin, more anger with our kids, more short-temperedness. Some of it can't be helped because we are up with littles in the night. But sometimes if we're being completely honest with ourselves, we put ourselves in that situation by going to bed too late because, you know, we're like, oh, it's our only time during the day that we're alone. And that can be true. But I think I'm trying to shift that time to the morning. I'm trying to redeem that time in the morning. I am trying to get up earlier, go to bed earlier. Of course, that productivity that I feel in the morning is always so much better than what I would do with some kind of leftovers at the end of the day. And so that's really what I'm trying to get back to in life. But again, grace for the season. I'm going to share 2 more essentials. I really think the last one is an extremely overlooked one that I want to share. This really freeing realization that discipline is kind of up to us, that we don't have to wait on our spouse to be disciplined so that we can be disciplined. We don't have to wait on our kids to be disciplined so that we can be disciplined. We can add in micro disciplines in our life today. No, I don't think I'm going to get to go and have some big run or workout every single day in my season of life, but I can move my body. I can. I just choose not to. And that's the reality. I think sometimes I'm lying to myself when I'm like, I can't because. Is there a way around that because? Is it simply a hurdle or is it a dead end? I think sometimes I lie to myself and I say it's a dead end and I say I can't because of this, but really at the end of the day, if I'm being honest with myself, I didn't want to. And I used this or that as the reason why. And so just realizing that if we want to see progress in our lives, we're going to have to stop making excuses, blaming other people for why it can't happen. Maybe the discipline just needs to shrink into a more bite-sized form or fashion, something that is more doable for our season. But to say that we can't have discipline because XYZ, I think we're probably pulling the wool over our eyes. And we all know that we watch ourselves, and lying to ourselves is not really going to turn out well. So just being honest with ourselves that we can push through, we can find a way. I can move my body even without exercise clothes on for 7 minutes. I might be a little bit sweaty in my sundress. I would at least have shown myself that it's possible and I can find a way, and where there's a will, there's a way. And I think the last essential with discipline, there's many other ones, but the last one I'm going to share in this video is that we have to connect the discipline to a future result that we really want to see happen. Because if we can't connect it to that thing we want to see happen, we are going to lose hope, lose momentum. But also there is the idea that some things in life, they don't have edges. Some things in life we're going to have to be doing for forever. Like health is not a destination, it's a journey. It's going to keep going on, but just creating places that we want to get within our health. And I think that's why sometimes like running a road race is really helpful, or doing a challenge is really helpful, or setting a certain amount of days is really helpful. But when we make that the end goal, after we run the race, we usually stop running, or after we hit that challenge goal and we've lost weight or whatever, we usually gain it back. And so just the things that don't have edges, like I am never going to stop studying my Bible until I go to heaven. Like there's no edge, but I can study a book of the Bible with another group of women and join a Bible study, and I'm going to grow, and that is going to give me some accountability, and it's going to give me just the framework to make studying the book of Nehemiah happen. That's just like an example. So I think helping ourselves understand where we're trying to go, but also realizing that a lot of the things we want to see happen in our lives, they don't have edges. And so what do we do with that? I don't know. I mean, I think, like I said, creating a time-bound specific thing that we want to see happen really can help us work towards something. My friend calls them micro sprints. She's like, okay, well, if you're trying to, let's say, start a blog, just telling yourself, like, in the next 30 days, I'm going to start a blog, or I'm going to start my YouTube channel, or in the next 30 days, I'm going to sew this blanket, or in the next 30 days, I'm going to do 500 burpees, or in the next 30 days, I'm going to walk 30 miles or something like that, or I'm going to hit 10,000 steps, 25 days of the next 30. I don't know. I think sometimes just those micro challenges can really help us start to build that discipline, and discipline can kind of build on itself. But to also recognize that the things in life that we want, the good stuff, it takes time. There are really no edges to trying to live a wise, disciplined life. There's kind of just like some fun pit stops along the way, some markers we can look back on, but it's going to be a continual process of change. I have a link to a bunch of freebies that are on my website. So many cool things, like a free massive book list, a pregnancy survival guide. I've even got a little homeschool like summer checklist that you can do with your kids. So many fun stuff in that freebie library. That's going to be down below. Thanks for hanging out with me today, and I'll see you again in the next video.
It's so unnecessary dwelling about the past, 'cause I know that God is good. He led me to where I'm at. Sometimes I feel like giving up, you're giving in, but everything happens for